Hi guys, today I have an amazing vocal coach with me, Robin de Haas.
Hello.
Hi Robin. Besides being a great vocal coach, he's also a coach for breathing coordination, and I think that's not very known around here, so I'm very honored that he said he's going to do an interview with me. So I think if you could just introduce breathing coordination to us, that would be great.
Absolutely. So, when we speak or sing, we actually compress air. Now that air is moving out of our body. We have different muscle groups and different articulations and bones and cartilages that contribute to moving the air. Breathing coordination is the study and assessment of the quality of movement of all these different structures. It assesses what structures are moving well and what structures are not moving well, and it rebalances them. Breathing coordination started with a name, with a man named Carl Stow. This name is really important, Carl Stow. He was the creator of all this, and he had amazing results on singers at the Metropolitan Opera of New York, singers of Broadway. He had results on folk singers, and also sports people, and also people with lung disease. I mean, really quite a big range of different population. I never met him because he died before I heard about this work, but I met his personal assistant, whose name is Lynn Martin, and when we met, to make a very, very long story short, it just clicked. It was just, I mean, it was what I had been looking for, forever, in a way. And it's what I had been feeling that was the missing piece. I was always looking for a way to individualize teaching. And that's what breathing coordination does. It assesses what are the tendencies of your breathing mechanism and what are the discoordinations. So you're basically being assessed as to what are the discoordinations you currently have. And those are being corrected. So it's not like you're being told, oh, breathe in your stomach or breathe in your back or whatever, which is so imprecise. But you are precisely assessed about what you may need to adjust. I had this singer who came in and who had, so what was happening to her was that she had a capillary of her vocal cord that was bleeding. And also she had edema. And she was a singer. She had that for 2 years, well actually probably 3, and had 2 years of treatment with a speech therapist at the large university hospital in the city where I live, which is Lausanne, Switzerland. The bleeding and the edema were still here, so the speech therapy did not work. So we worked. Honestly, I did not know if that was going to help. But hey, she was here, I was willing to try. So we did about 15 sessions, and after 15 sessions she went back to the ENT doctor, which is the voice doctor, as I'm sure everybody knows, and the cords were in a state where there was no more bleeding and this edema thing was no more present. And so, everything had stabilized, and the doctor said, what did you do? How come? And so that's how I got a connection with the medical community, which then started referring those damaged voice singers. And the thing that was really positive is that we discovered that in so many of those singers, they had big discoordinations in their breathing system. Now, because I was able to address specifically what those were, of course, the discoordinations went away. And the theory of the ENT is that most vocal damage is caused by excessive air pressure. Now, excessive air pressure can be caused by 3 things, I think. First, sometimes people push the air out, and that's creating excessive air pressure. Some other times they collapse. There's like a and so it also creates excessive air pressure. But also sometimes they can be misaligned in their vowel production. so the vocal cords do not close well. And then you can have also excessive pressure because the glottis is just not responding well. But the thing is, if you change the outflow of the air, you change the encounter that the vocal cords do with this air. So, I mean, singing is compressed air. So you change the way, the material that you're going to compress, you change the way it is moving. Mm-hmm. So of course, if you do that, you're going to have a huge impact on the way the cords close, even though you're not working directly on cord closure. So to me, that made so much sense, and then it kept causing those results, where not only were people getting better, but then their voice was getting much bigger than where when they had initially started. Mm-hmm. So not only I was able to rehabilitate, or I should say we, because it's never I, it's the singer and I, but I mean, through these tools, I was amazed to find out not only it was rehabilitating, but then it was developing talent. And so that's how it, people heard about it, and then that's how I got to go to a bit all over the world, basically, to speak about this.
Mm-hmm. You said tools, so like it was really amazing to me that the first half hour or even more is like happening on the table.
Yes.
Like you are massaging, or can you tell us a little bit about that? Why?
Absolutely. So the first half hour is called the basic prep or basic assessment. Mm-hmm. My teacher, Lynn Martin, from New York, she has made hypothesis of the possible links between the different body parts and the breathing mechanism. She has made that through her functional anatomy study and through also doing dissection. She has worded precisely that, for instance, if your legs are holding, it can put a pressure and sort of prevent good movement and good function in your breathing mechanism. And she has found out what muscular chains are doing that. Or at least, shall we say, she has created and worded a hypothesis about this. And so what we do is we assess those different hypotheses. Now, in order to do that, I need to not have the person standing. Because if they're standing, we're going to have two energies at play. We're going to have the postural energy, which is the right one, what we want, but also the habits of tension. And they're both going to be active, which is not going to allow me to assess the one we don't want. Which is why I have the person lie down. And that I remove the postural energy, or at least part of it, and then I can see the residual tension. And the residual tension is actually what's not necessary, so I can get rid of it. And then I can redevelop a usage of the postural muscles, having the person sit up and then stand, but making sure that the person doesn't go back to the old pattern. So we start lying down in order to create a difference, or almost to dissociate the unnecessary tension from the postural muscles. I have thought a lot about what are the coordinations that one needs to sing. And I've worded it in this way. There are 3 coordinations necessary to sing. There's the breathing coordination, so that's providing you with the material you're going to compress. There's the laryngopharyngeal coordination, that's how you're going to tune your vowel, or the space through which the compressed air travels to create the type of color you want. And then you have what I call the neuro-emotional. So how your nervous system is behaving. Are you in a state of your nervous system and a use of it that will promote singing or not? And how are you dealing with getting in contact through your emotional system in a way that doesn't prevent your neurologic system to work well? Mm-hmm. So that's why I call it neuro-emotional coordination. So depending on the needs of the person, I'll work on singing, if it's a singer, after the breathing coordination, but I will check that the outflow of air stays present. Mm-hmm. So I'm basically building new references of mobility, for instance in the rib cage, and also through absorbing pressure, what people call vocal, breath support. You can actually assess it, develop it, and train it, mm-hmm. which is, quite new, because before people would tell you support and you had no idea what that meant. And so I work on that, And then while I work on the sing, I check that all of that is happening correctly. A lot of people, if you give them an aria and either they have a high note or they have an emotional moment in the aria, they'll overblow. They go like this. They need to learn not to do that. And it's just really fine-tuning it. So basically, imagine this as a carriage being pulled by 3 horses. You have the breathing coordination horse, the laryngeal pharyngeal coordination horse, and you have the neuro-emotional coordination horse. You want to feed the 3 horses during the rest of the session for the singer you have. Because we want our singers to be superstars, to be amazing, we want their whole body presence to shine. I mean, their job is to make people dream. So we want them to evoke emotions in a way that will make people cry, or that will give them the feeling that they're flying. And we also want them to do it in a way that they can do it night and night over and over and over again, so they need to protect themselves. So I find that what is really important about this work is that you don't want to look at only one part of the phenomenon. You want to be working on the breath flow, on the vocal cord closure, and on the neuro-emotional elements. And if you have all that, you have a complete artist. And then they feel also more connected to themselves, to their audience, the reports are like that.
Do you also teach people how to practice at home?
Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely.
what kind of like exercises?
Yeah. Well, basically it's very simple. The way we created the training program, every movement we do has an on your own version. So everything I've performed on you in your lesson, if I had more time, and that's actually something I do very often in the second session, I teach you to do it at home. How you can do exactly it at home, and then I ask the students to compare the sensations they've had with me when we work together. So as you notice, when we were working, I asked you, how does this feel? How does this feel? And then I would give you the on your own practice corresponding to the exact same muscles. And then I would ask you to take a little journal and work, 4 or 5 days a week for 10 minutes. So it's not long. And to just write down for me if it feels different or the same than when we work together. My goal is that gradually over time, you have the same sensation working on your own than when you are with me, so that you don't need me anymore. My goal is to put myself out of a job as soon as I can. Then if people choose to come to me again because they love the work so much, that's a different situation. But getting completely rid of people feeling they're dependent of me, that is my top priority.
Is there anything that would be good for everybody?
Yep. Carl Stow said, you need to understand it's all about the exhale. He said, find a way to exhale in a calm manner, just very calmly, just exhale. You could do it on maybe a small F, like, and you want it to be very steady, very regular, no, but just like a little stream of water. And just practice that. And then the following inhale, receive the air inside you. Do not pull it in. You don't need to do that. The fact that you have exhaled has created the possibility for the new air to enter your body in a way that you don't need to pull it, or you don't need to make an effort. Do that for 5 minutes and see how you feel.
I think that's great for the ending of our interview.
Great, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye, guys.